Here's the next point that I hope you're going to wake up for. You will need continuous learning of systems and skills, building your own professional brand, meaning that you can't rely on somebody else to build your brand of who you are for you. You're going to have to continuously learn, and that doesn't mean going for a PhD. It means ongoing education, both informal and perhaps formal. You have to expand your network of professional relationships, because your professional relationships are going to open up opportunities for you. Not the friends that you hang out with after work, but your professional relationships are going to open up opportunities. And that will help you for self-efficacy. Okay, so that's kind of that package. The last thing I'm going to talk about are the 4 questions that you're going to need to navigate your career. And these are tough but simple questions. The first question is, where do I fit? Where do I fit? Where do I fit? You kind of feel that when you go into a party and you don't fit, right? People are not like you. So you kind of understand where you don't fit is, but we're talking about a different where do I fit. You cannot know yet where you fit. You know where you fit or don't fit today, but again, think about your career as the beginning, the sunrise, right? Do you like to work in rigid structures, or do you like to create your own structure? Do you like to work in large organizations, or do you like small groups? Do you like to work with data, or do you like to work with people and concepts? Do you like to work in teams, or do you like to work by yourself? Do you like to work on projects that have a long timeline, or do you really like to work on projects that have a beginning, middle, and end, kind of fast? Do you like to work under pressure, where there's constant deadlines, or does that make you crazy and you really want longer time frames in order for you not to feel pressure? These are questions that are not right or wrong questions. There are many questions, and by the way, there are lots of tests that you can take to see what you're comfortable with in terms of your own proclivities. But where you fit is also, after you've been in the world of work for a while, you're going to see where it works for you and where it doesn't. So working in different environments and working in different sectors is actually very good, because you get to see how does it feel to be working with a group of techies and I'm the communications person. Or how does it feel to work with people who are in the nonprofit sector and are doing something that we're all passionate about? And how does it feel to work with people who are not like you are, you're working geographically dispersed? There are many ways to define where do I fit, but if you know that's the question you're asking, you're continuously looking at yourself and your experience in terms of where do I fit. How comfortable I am, and how am I accepted, or how do I feel being in this environment? Very important question. I can tell you that if you hate the environment where you're working in and you're just working for the money, there are a lot of other people who will do much better than you will, because they'll be passionate about it. And if you're not passionate about it and you don't feel you fit, you're going to miss out. You're not going to do well. The next question is, how do I add value? And here's where your skill sets come in. How do I add value? Maybe, I'm good at communications, and I add value because I'm good at project management and group meetings and getting the group moving, and that is a skill set. So it's, what do I know, how can it be used, what do I need to learn or experience, and keep building those skill sets, and you will keep adding how much you can add value, and by that's the way you get promoted. That's also the way you get other people who want to work with you. So this is a very important question. These are important questions. Where do I fit? How do I add value? And the value is perceived by the people you work with. It's not what you think you're adding value, and everybody can't stand working with you or thinks that you don't add value. That's not good. How do others see me adding value? I'm going to give you a very weird, but it's going to be important. Can you compete to collaborate? And here's where your secret sauce as communications majors come in. In the world of Google, in the world of high tech, in the world of the future company, the person that everybody wants to have working on their team is the king or the queen. In other words, do people really want to have you on their team because you're so good at collaborating in a group? Now, in your education, if you collaborated, it was called cheating, right? I'm not talking about the small group work. I mean, when you took your tests, you don't all get together, pull your answers, and give it to Rick and say, you know, we decided not to do it as single individuals. We decided to collaborate. That doesn't work here. But you know what? Once you leave this building, people are going to want to see your contribution in the context of who you're working with, and you're part of groups. That's part, by the way, of the new way of working. You're not individually, you're working with groups. And so how do you compete to be collaborative? Is so that you're a valued team member is one of the most important questions that you have to continually ask, because it's going to change depending on the industry, depending on your skill sets, depending on where you are in your career. Now, part of this is being able to understand signals that people give you and that you respond to. I'll give you an example. I was in writing our last book, we were with a very high-level group of IBMers, 2 IBMers who were highly, highly skilled in business model engineering, which was not my partner in my field. Now, what I did was not simply take the notes. I organized the notes in such a way that I captured the major ideas and I captured how we were going to integrate them into our book. And when I of course sent it to my partner, we went back and forth in terms of making sure that it was accurate, that we captured everything, we sent it on to them, and they were blown away because that skill set that I had developed in advertising, because you had to write excellent conference reports, was able to be utilized in a context that was completely different. And I brought something that enabled me to collaborate with these people because I was able to bring something to the table, not the technical skill, but the ability to capture what was said and what was meant and how to pull it together. That's a skill. And then the thing that I'm going to mention to you is what I'll call an intelligent communicator. Again, this is what you can use in your job, by the way, is that these are 2 things that you can do regardless of what the content are, what you learn how to do in small group and in communications. Now, this is not just theory. There are people who work online together very, very well. How many of you are gamers? Have you played games like World of Warcraft and that kind of thing, right? People have played games? What a unique group. Okay, good. There's a virtual world out there. There's a Second Life. There are avatars. People can work together very well online, and they do it in games. And there's a whole world out there of gamers. But these people, when they're put face-to-face in a room together, have a very difficult time because they're not used to face-to-face interpersonal communications. In other words, their minds are wired for internet communications with one another, not face-to-face. So if you are a face-to-face communicator, if you understand communications, you have an enormous advantage. Not in playing games with them as an avatar, but in terms of the group process. So intelligent communicator is somebody who listens empathetically, and picks up signals that are both verbal and nonverbal, and understands how to give signals, verbal and nonverbal. If I'm with a young person such as you, and you were working for me, and we had a meeting, and you were not sitting there taking notes, I get very nervous. Is this person a sieve? Are they gonna remember anything? So by you giving a signal of not only taking notes, but recapping for me what you understood we said, by being a good communicator, you're making me feel like you're dependable. You're making me feel like you're reliable. You're signaling me that you're a damn good employee or a damn good colleague. And if you're there thinking, I can't wait to get out of this meeting and whatever this guy said doesn't matter, well then you're giving me a different signal. And believe me, those signals count. Now if we were in a social situation and you wanted to be giving a signal to somebody who you wanted to enter into a love relationship with, you would know how to signal that person. You would know what kinds of signals to give to enter into a relationship. So this is not a skill you don't know. The problem is those skill sets of friendship or lovers is not the skill set. Same principle, but it's not the skill set at work. Your signaling and your ability to read signals is going to be one of the most important things in your entire career. And if you get really good at it, you're going to be a manager and a leader, because that's the skill set that people get promoted with. And those are the people that people want to collaborate with. Not people who just provide content, but people who understand how to make things happen because they understand the interaction of people. So I'm almost complete here, but let me just say something that many of you may be feeling, and Rick alluded to it. Do not look at San Francisco State University as limiting you because you didn't graduate from UC Berkeley, or you didn't graduate from UC San Diego, or you didn't graduate from Stanford. I graduated from Queens College, City University of New York. After I graduated, and I graduated from Denver University. At the time, it wasn't the best known. It did make a damn bit of difference once I got into the world of work, because it's how I performed. And this was far more important than my degree or my GPA, which nobody gives a damn about, or all the courses that I took that were specialized in, or all the books I read and all the papers I wrote didn't mean a damn thing. How do you translate that into what you can do is what people care about. So don't ever feel that you are less than anybody else because you graduated from San Francisco State University. And just so that you know, if you look at the people who are in management positions all over this city, let alone the Bay Area, there are more San Francisco State graduates than there are Stanford or Berkeley, because a lot of the Berkeley-Stanford people go off. People at State are the ones that stay in the Bay Area, and they are in many positions here. And one key that you can do is look at the background, because it's all on LinkedIn. Take a look at people in the field who have graduated San Francisco State, and you can start to relate to them as alumni. And that's one of your keys in terms of leveraging San Francisco State rather than feeling insecure that you only graduated from San Francisco State. So don't look at the company, the title, and the immediate compensation for your guide. I will tell you that there are certain places that are known for being great places to work. There's a company called Glassdoor that enables you to see what people say about the places where they've worked. And don't look at the title. Don't look at the company and how prestigious it is. I did some research in the nonprofit sector to see where are the best places in the nonprofit, and I was amazed that one of the best places, as reported by the people who worked there, was the Alzheimer's regional office in the Bay Area. I thought to myself at first, who would, it's a disease that doesn't have a cure, so isn't that depressing? And it's fundraising, and who wants to do fundraising? And Alzheimer's is not cool. It's not like you're discovering the next iPad. What do you say at a party? I'm working on the newest Apple device, or I'm working at the Alzheimer's. But none of that mattered. These people all cared because they knew somebody who had Alzheimer's. They had purpose. They had sharing. They had power. That was a great place to work. For them, I'm not saying it's a great place to work for you, but that's a lesson. That doesn't matter, the prestige of the company. How does it fit You, how can you add value in a place like that? Who are those people? And are those the kinds of people that are going to develop you rather than suck you dry? Because there are people out there who are vampires who will suck you dry. And at your stage of your career, that's not who you want to be. That's not who you want to work with. So, what would I say to that 20-year-old? His dad, and perhaps your parents and yourselves. One, it's going to be all right. You will learn through your experience. If you can understand yourself and what you're becoming through conscious work for vision, mentors, professional contacts with some idea of what's important to you in terms of your autonomy, your mastery, your purpose, your progress, your sharing. If these are important to you, then understand that it's a guide for you, and you evolve to understand where you fit and how you add value and how you can be valuable as a team player and how to be an intelligent listener and communicator. If you can do these things and this, and understand the world of work is going to be very, very changeable so that there are no fixed plans, there are emergent plans, then I think you'll be able to navigate your career. You're going to be able to participate in the turbulent, ever-changing economy. And most importantly, you'll have purposeful, meaningful work that will make you happy. Good luck.